Hey, welcome back. It's session 2 of Fistful of Darkness with the Hacked in the Dark crew. Real quick, we'll just go around and introduce each other. I'm Mistletoe Kiss, the GM, and I'll pass it off to somebody else.
Yeah, I'm Stefan. I'm the creator of A Fistful of Darkness, and I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I'm Tree. My pronouns are he, him, or they, them. I play Nero, whose pronouns are they, them, and I am very excited to see what this Weird West has in store for us.
My name is Ray, and I use he, him pronouns, and I am playing Monroe, who is a bit of a scoundrel.
A bit of a...
Yeah. And I'm playing Kona. My name is Mark, and my pronouns are he, they, and my character's pronouns are she, they. So, yeah. They are Thunderheart.
All right, so the last time we left off, our wonderful posse had recently discovered a hidden cavern hidden behind a dried out waterfall. A skeleton of bone of the previous sheriff discovered clutching with evidently its dying breath a piece of Hellstone and coin. Kona picks it up, sees a vision of the apocalypse, the end of the world, the shattering of the giant gate of hell itself being released. And then all of a sudden, a gust of wind, the skeletal bones transferring and shifting into this being, this entity, this person who calls herself the Mother of Bone.
Yeah, hey.
So, you've come.
I think Nero will step forward and say, feels more that we were led here by the wind and whatever it speaks to.
Yeah, I don't think we had much choice.
The spirit of the West. We have an mutual understanding.
So you brought us here then to see this cavern in which we stand?
I wish to see my new champion.
So is it clear who she is referring to? And is that champion Monroe? Or is it Nero?
It is unsure of who she is necessarily discussing, but she is addressing Nero at the moment.
Okay, yeah. I think I will say, if you would like to speak with us, then as you can see, we are not very combative. But I must ask, what do you know of the Black Rider who has been following us all this time?
Combative. I think the one with the broken skull begs to differ. Regarding the rider, I have seen him. He is always watching, as am I. Question is, have you heard his proposal as mine?
There is no proposal that we would be willing to entertain from one such as the Rider. All he is interested in is death. Wouldn't you agree?
It all depends on perspective. Sacrifices must be made for the time of the world is at an end. And then I will truly be mother of all bones.
I think Nero will kind of cock their head to one side, and then they will say, if anything or any person is to be sacrificed, that will be up to me, not the rider.
He only gives propositions. He is bound to propriety. So,
Yeah, I think they will look at the rest of that crew, and it is clear that all three of them are not interested in propriety. And like being improper is maybe the way that they exist in the world. And then they will look back at the Mother of Bones and say, we sacrificed our propriety long before we knew that it existed, I think. But what can you offer us? Why have you brought us here?
to provide a safe haven. All of you need one. Also, to make sure that the world does not come to such a finality. I live on, yet many do not. And then again, who will give birth to my children?
If we have been called here to prevent, as you say, an ending to the world that we are in, then that was what we will do. The world will not end so long as we stand in it.
I have chosen my champion well.
It's still unclear whether she's referring to Nero or Monroe, because I feel like it could be Monroe.
I think some of us are probably like trying to see where, where it faces when it says that word, protector, and if they're looking at the our new sheriff or at our speaker.
Pointing directly at your speaker.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's casual. Nice. Yeah, I think then they will say, then allow us to make our introductions. I'm called Nero. And I think like until now, Nero is wearing the hat, but they're not covering their face, right? Because they're out in the wilderness. It doesn't matter so much anymore. But now they will kind of like remove their hat as well and like do a bow and say, I was called here, as were my friends. And they will kind of point at each of their friends and say, this is Monroe, newly christened Charles, sheriff of Mudwater. This Kona, a mighty hunter. And this, well, this is a man that even I cannot fully describe. For I do not know what speaks to him when he thinks no one else can hear.
You're speaking of Ezra?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ezra, as you say this, Ezra is taking a step forward towards the Mother of Bones and have a puzzled look on his face, and he looks at the mother and say, did we met before in the beyond? I'm not sure.
I remember such kind faces. Yours was always memorable.
Okay. He's just opening his mouth to ask a question, but he changed his mind and just turns around and walks a few steps back from the Mother of Bones.
Yeah, I think Kona might step forward at that point, and she doesn't look fearful, but she looks curious. Like she's narrowed her eyes at the reaction that that Stefan's character is given off, and is like trying to read. I think trying to read whether or not there's recognition on the Mother Bones face. So I'm looking really close at Mother Bones' face, basically, and just kind of like, like doing that thing where it's like, do you know me? That kind of thing. But it's to try to glean out more info, right? To try to see if maybe there's a recognition from me as well. Do I feel like this person, like this is the same spirit that might have been there when she got the bad feeling about her brother passing, or like the news of like there was a traveler on the road and they have a marking, or any of that sort of thing.
Yeah, go ahead and roll a fortune roll for that.
Ooh, okay. Let's see, fortune.
And this action will be however you feel best suits Kona for discovering this information.
Yeah, so I'm thinking it's probably a study. Well, yeah, I don't think she'd risk a tuning here. I think she's just trying to look with her mortal eyes.
We'll attune to the rock, but not the entity. Okay, I got it.
Well, I mean, I'm hoping I just missed something and not get like my soul ripped out, yeeted from the planes. Okay, fortune, submit, standard, no bonus.
She's very hard to read.
Yeah, I got a 2. Yeah, that's not gonna do it.
The clicking, the rattling of bone, the shifting, it's almost as if you're looking at her and she's speaking, but the bone are actually growing and shifting to provide speech or looks of the movement of speech. You're kind of mesmerized. You're not exactly sure if you can recognize such a human expression of recognition. So it's a little unclear.
Yeah, there's basically just this exchange of like confusion and then kind of like a, do you know me? She stands up proudly like, do you know me, spirit? What of my kin?
I have always known yours. Then again, I am mother to all that pass.
Do they look
They
corporeal?
become my children.
Do they look like wispy or like corporeal? What are we looking at?
I mean, she's made of bone.
Yeah.
Maybe like at the end of the bone, like protrusions that appear as fingers, maybe a little wispy at the end of that. But that overall shifting aspect of constantly growing and becoming a figure is still happening as she speaks.
Okay.
Ma'am, forgive my colleague's impropriety. What seems to be the trouble around these parts?
You.
Way.
Indeed.
But I'm the
I
sheriff.
think that might be something you look into for me.
Indeed, ma'am. I am more than happy to oblige.
Monroe, don't taunt the impossibly old eldritch death spirit. How do you keep doing this?
Now, see here. It is your duties as deputies and mine as the lawman of this here cave to help out those in needs. And why? I do believe we have ourselves a lady in need. Madame, grandma, bones, person.
You can call me mother.
Right. Miss Mother over there.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't think Nero's gonna call her mother for sure. But yeah.
Where is the part of Hellstone?
Ooh, I think it's still in my
Who
hand.
has it?
Wait.
No, you
I
dropped
dropped
it.
it. Yeah, it's on the
Yeah,
ground,
you dropped
right?
it, right?
Yeah, I did drop it. I didn't resist that. I remember I dropped it. So
It's probably just still on the ground, right?
Probably. She'll kind of like a walk over to it, pick it up, and then just kind of hold it out. This is the key part of the puzzle, you might say.
And she's not reacting to it in the way that Kona reacted, right? Like when Kona picked it up, she like went into a vision and then came out weeping, and the mother of bones is like, this is just a rock.
Precisely.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Discover why this aspect has been chiseled away. And she kind of like, she'll hold it out, and I'm guessing one of you have a pouch or something or satchel, correct?
Yeah. I definitely have a satchel that like
She'll
whatever I own. Yeah.
she'll kind of hold it out towards Nero of like she's gonna put it in the bag, but you need to open it. Otherwise,
shit.
you need to,
Yeah. I think that Nero will like pull that satchel out and take out like and just kind of like roughly empty it, right? So you see like some chalk, some bits of colored stone, like a fine like kind of metal filigree thing made in the same shape as the mark on their face. All of them like kind of hurriedly tossed out because those things can't be in the same bag as the Hellstone. And I think they will empty the bag and then look at the Mother of Bones and say, how are you intending to prevent this finality?
I am not. You are. You said, as long as you live, the apocalypse will not happen. So, I must make sure that you live. And just kind of
Very
drop
well.
it into the bag for you.
Yeah. I think like they realize that there's not much at this moment that they can really do. So they like once it goes into the bag, they will kind of immediately shut it and start gathering up like all of the stuff that they've now tossed on the ground and shoving it into various pockets and like trying to keep it on them, even though there's no place for them anymore. And then they will look up at the Mother of Bones and say, if you intend to keep us from death, then I imagine that you know more about the Black Rider who intends to bring death to us. And to him, especially. And then, like, they're going to point at Monroe.
Dear child. And just kind of like strokes your cheek a little bit to your chin. It's a smooth, cold feeling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just kind of like strokes your face a little bit, kind of like ends at your chin. Is he trying to bring it, or is he trying to prevent it? That is for you to discover. I will be around. And with that, you hear Bones starting to hit the ground, and she vanishes, and essentially the skeleton reappears, broken apart, the individual bones no longer being held together by anything, but it just becomes a pile of bones on the ground, and she vanishes.
I think Nero's just kind of looking down at this pile of bones, and they don't really have a reaction because they are scared shitless and mildly surprised to still be alive.
Yeah, I think Kona was like a hand was hovering over the gun that she pulled off of her, like the scene where her brother was killed, and she's just like, she was ready to use it, and she kind of like squeezes back like a strong emotion, and then comes over to where Nero is and kneels down to the bones and looks up at Nero, and she's kind of like, I think she's trying to like comfort a little bit, like as she's doing this, she's kind of like got like a hand on like the small of your back to kind of support and just be like, we should look at this more. But
yeah,
you know, and then she's just like lets it hang, like as to why not, and maybe like she understands that, you know, it was you couldn't have gotten the info then, you know.
Yeah, for sure. I think Nero's going to take that moment, and then they will look around the cavern and then kind of say, I do not trust her, but we need help if we're going to survive whatever it is this town and this place is going to do to us. Oh, what did she mean by that, Hellstone? And like, I think they're really kind of like now nervous about the Hellstone, but they don't want to open the bag and look at it because like it seems terrifying. So
yeah, from Ezra's point of view, we see the scene some seconds ago when the Mother of Bones is talking to Nero. We see a flashback to his youth, and we see overlaid over the mother and Nero his mother from his childhood and his brother Paul, and they're doing exactly the same things. Like she's reaching out to him, and Ezra, we see this blending over into the past and back into the present. And Ezra is looking at this scene, and he's taking a few steps to stay behind Nero. And he muttered in, I will not fail this time.
Oh no, poor Ezra.
Monroe's kicking around, looking at the disappeared bones or things left on the ground, and kind of just looking left and right, saying, "Say, anyone get the feeling that something very peculiar is happening around here?"
Yeah, I think Nero will look at him and say, "Did you not see the spirit rise up? Tell us that the end of the world was coming? And then you flirted with it? You flirted with it!"
It's just he looks down on his badge, and all of a sudden his eyes steel,
Mm-hmm.
and he looks at you with complete and utter seriousness.
Yeah.
It is our duty to keep the peace.
I think at that they will kind of like, the energy will kind of drain away, and they'll say, "War is coming, Monroe. We have to stop it, or behind it will come death."
Yeah. Long shot out.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So what would you guys like to do?
So I said this before stream, but I want to say it again. I am very pro stealing the Black Rider's horse. I think that is great, and I want to try and do that. That is my pitch.
Yeah, like how does that come up to us? Are you just like, hey, the other terrifying thing, let's go for after that? Or
Don't we have enough weird stuff already? So
we go from one to the other.
I mean, I think kind of in character Nero is not pro this, but I imagine that Monroe still thinks the horse is cool, right? So I mean that's the angle that I could see, but we don't have to like chase that right now. We could chase that at any time.
I have the idea in my head that Kona might actually be like interested in seeing where that goes, because they didn't sense the connection that they got off of that. They might be like, just like, okay, let me see if my compass points me in this other direction. So they might bring it up. Like Kona would probably be like, remember the encounter we had before, and I think the look on Kona's face kind of tells you that it's not this one. It's back earlier before we got to Mudwater, and we had like vision of a rider near us. And I'll like describe like I'll be like, there's something to learn there. Maybe we can use this to get us to uncover the mystery of what happened. I mean, do we really want to let something like that walk around unhindered, free to destroy us? I think I saw it in my vision. Maybe there's an answer there.
we have to kill the wounded prey.
Yeah.
I think Nero will look at Ezra and say, "You mean the other twin?"
He's just nodding. If not, he will come back, and at a time of not of our choosing, but his. And this is a real big problem. How if he walks around wounded, this is a big problem for us.
I like that too.
And he's starting to preparing his weapons. cleaning his knife, sharpening it.
No sense having a hunter out there. I agree. We could take that out of our hair, and she kind of like runs her fingers through her hair to kind of like pick out some like maybe like a blossom or something that got in there, and she just kind of like pulls it out and lets it fall to the ground, and steps on it. She actually she looks kind of pained as she does it, but she's like, sometimes the poison must be squeezed out before it can kill the body.
Monroe's going to step ahead and flash back with his silver canines, smiling, and he's going to say, well, come on now. Town of Mudwater ain't going to save itself. And as far as mission-wise, I'm down for whatever.
Our catchphrase guy right there. Yeah.
Okay, I think I'm okay with either. I think the Black Rider mission is more crazy, but the twins mission makes more sense, right? So I'm fine with either. I just think that it depends on whether we want to do the sensible thing or the completely batshit insane thing. So
I feel like we can loop back around to the Black Rider and the horse too, like, and kind of
that's true.
bring it in.
Yeah. So I think let's go after whoever this douchebag is, and then we don't have to be at war anymore, right? Because then they're dead, and then that'll be that.
That's right. I did kill his brother.
Yeah,
Just remember that.
Ulysses. Yeah.
That was me.
That was you.
It was such a defining moment of session 1. And I was like, I'm going to blow his brains out. The whole reason why you're sheriff.
Live, laugh, learn.
I forget how I helped
correct.
too. I did something to help you get that correct. I think I was just like, get him, and then you blasted him. So these are the escapees from the state prison. We probably have heard their names at least, so we could use that.
Horatio and Ulysses Jones.
Yeah, so Horatio is the living one, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So, maybe we could ask around to figure out leads on where they're at, or go look for tracks or something like that. I'm not sure how we're going to locate them, but I guess we could walk around town and just show off our sheriff until they show up.
Yeah. I mean, I think in terms of gather info, Nero will probably try and attune to like local supernatural things. Maybe even ask the Mother of Bones whether she knows something, or the Threshold, I guess, to see whether Ulysses has any creepy ghost stuff going on, or whether there's an angle there that we could exploit. That would be my kind of, and it is what like they're good at. So
Makes sense.
We could find out where Horatio is and do a classic hunt. Find him, trap him, kill him.
Yeah, loot his body.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think in that case, how about I will commit to try and like attune while I'm in the cavern to see if I can speak to the Mother of Bones again, and find out whether she knows anything about the twins, about where he might be holed up now. I guess. Are you still a twin if your twin is dead? I guess you are, right?
One half of a twin.
Yeah.
And a half forevermore.
Indeed. Yeah.
Start a personal clock for Monroe.
Oh no! I take it back. I'm sorry.
I'm automatically filling all segments but one.
Oh my gosh. Well,
Yeah.
I
So
mean, I'm nervous to join in, but I think I would. My character would. You know, help attune. Now that the I mean, you're gonna attune to the mother. Ooh. She's a little freaked out by that, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. I think for me, it's that like I don't get the sense that she's lying to me, and she said we'll be safe in the cavern. So, I mean, nothing supernatural is ever like risk free necessarily, but like this is probably as close as it might be able to get.
It's probably like a conversation of like okay, are you sure? And then when you explain that much, she just probably acquiesces a little bit, and she's like, okay, you know.
Yeah.
Like I'm trusting my instinct and what the spirits told me before too, right? So they told me to be like with you. So if you're going for it, just gonna go for it.
And I think when they see you kind of being nervous, they'll say, don't be afraid. Spirits like that one, they'll see fear and then they'll jump on it. Show only your most stoic face to them. And they will treat with you.
She looks less so.
Yeah.
So can I attune here?
Yeah, maybe one. Ezra asked, would a bit of the twin brothers' blood be helpful in this situation?
100%.
And he's pointing at one big blood splash on his clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe this is a flashback. So GM has last word here, but I think he stood very close to the twin when Mad Munroe shot him on the street, and some of the blood of the dead brother splattered on Ezra's clothing.
Well, if you remember correctly, Ulysses was standing kind of sort of at your side and holding onto your horse's bridle because he wanted that particular steed, and he was pointing a gun up at you. So yes, it makes perfect sense for some of that that viscera and whatnot to fly at you. I will say that I'm going to say that this is a 0 stress flashback.
Okay,
if you
cool.
choose to do it that way.
Yeah, maybe
that
even
makes
cooler.
fictional sense.
Maybe even cooler if the splash is on the horse and not on my clothing, or both. So we have lots of that. Okay.
You just pull it out of your beard and be like,
One of these.
there it is.
Oh,
it's a little morbid, but I'm into it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
I hand it over to you somehow.
Nice. Yeah, I think then they will like remove the chalk maybe from where like they had like they emptied their bag and it's now in like one of their pockets and they kind of bring it out and then maybe they draw like a rough like circle and they'll put the cloth with the blood on it in the circle and then under the circle they will draw the symbol they have on their face. And then that's what they're going to try and maybe use to attune to the Mother of Bones and then kind of direct her attention towards like the person who this belonged to.
Of course, go for it.
Cool. Okay. And I'm getting a bonus die from Kona, is that right?
Yeah, it's probably best. Yeah, I'll probably just put the one stress down or grit, mark 1 grit, and give you a bonus die.
Cool. And this is a fortune roll. Yeah? Sorry, yeah, go on.
Yes, because it is a gather info, so it would be fortune. I don't believe that there is that much risk here involved.
Yeah, cool. So fortune standard, 1 bonus die. Let's see. Well, I mean, I'll take the 4 to be honest.
So, as you do this ritual, as you attune to the Mother of Bones, You hear almost insect-like clicking of joints for a slight moment. A rattle. Not necessarily the mother bones. This one sounds slightly different. And then you hear it like fades ever so slightly, and then it goes into the rattling of the mother. Yes, my child.
This blood belongs to one that we would kill before he kills us. Do you know anything of him?
He is now my spawn.
And his brother?
You seek to give me another.
I seek only to ensure that he does not make me one of yours.
A spawn for a spawn. I see. And with that, your vision like slightly blurs a little bit, and that rattling of that bone shifts into the sound of spurred boots upon a boardwalk in town.
Right.
And then you realize that he is in town. You can't.
Yeah, I think.
I will say with the 4, you can't quite tell where.
Yeah, but he's in town.
He is in town.
Yeah, I think I will instantly kind of bark out. He's still in Mudwater. We should get there soon before he decides to leave.
Good.
I await my new child with anticipation. And she kind of vanishes from your mind.
So let's lay a trap in Mudwater. We only have to decide on a bait.
Are you looking at Nero when you say this?
Yeah, only
No, we're all looking at Monroe.
only a split second, and then the view goes on to Monroe.
Yeah.
Maybe what we can do is I can give some sort of speech or public event, knowing that he's probably going to come and want to kill me and get revenge for his brother. And so that way we lure him out, and then
yeah, in self-defense.
In self-defense. So I was wondering if I could acquire an asset, and I want to acquire a stump.
Yes.
How would you go about acquiring such an asset?
I suppose I would go to the Undertaker, because that probably has the greatest source of wood.
We don't have an Undertaker in the
Undertaker.
We don't have.
Yeah.
You are the Undertaker.
Yeah.
This town is cursed, god damn it. So, I suppose the next best thing. No Undertaker, no wood.
Yeah, you would notice that most of the trees and everything else are more of a petrified stone and crystalline in nature. The wood seems to be somewhat limited.
I think Nero will look at Monroe and say, if you want to stand on something so you can, or behind something so you can give a speech, my friend.
I'm not standing on Hellstone. I'm definitely not doing that. I'm not that crazy.
Yeah, no, I think Nero is thinking about whether or not they need to spell out Hellstone is not an option. That's like the calculation in their mind is Monroe stupid enough to think, well, there's no wood, Hellstone, that's the next option. And I think they will instead say, maybe we can find a tree that we can chop down and use for you. One of these weird, demonic, gray things dotting the landscape.
Mm.
And maybe instead, like the acquire asset here is literally we want to see what kind of tree we can cut down and make a stump out of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I was about to say that as a tier 0 posse, crying an asset is really painful, of decent quality, but for a stump of wood,
yeah, there is no minimum quality for stump.
A poor quality wooden stump.
No, it's got to be minimum tier 6, right? Because the Black Ride is going to be on it.
Let's not even consider using a horseback for speech, being of a certain height. We're going to go for a giant tree stump.
I was going to say an upside down trowel.
Well, if you're on
give you some elevation.
If you're on a horse, you've got your getaway like ready to go in case things go wrong.
Oh, that is true. I do think I might have some items on my character sheet. Let's see.
Like Kona's gonna push that forward as like perhaps it's best if you're on your getaway. When the thing happens, we'll be waiting, of course, but these escapees can be resourceful. I'm sure I'm telling the great sheriff nothing, but she tries to make a joke, it's to kind of jab you in the ribs with that.
Yeah, if getting a stump doesn't make sense, I'm more than happy to just ride on my horse and be like, kind of wave around. Go from there too.
Might be more effective from the gallows as well.
Oh, is there a gallows?
I mean, you are a sheriff and you have not checked out your offices yet.
That's true.
Fairly certain that there is gallows or something.
To my new offices. Yeah, I think Nero's gonna go. Nero's got to see this, but I also think they will say standing on the thing that was used to murder people, so that you can murder somebody. I can only admire you, Monroe. I can only admire you.
I've been known to have a grand idea or two from time to time. I am Charles Monroe, after all.
So I say with that, since you guys are going to head into town to the sheriff's offices, or the sheriff's office, you guys head out of the cave and start heading into town. It is still bright out. The sun almost midday still. Surprisingly, you're not used to seeing this much sunlight. Hot desert winds blowing as you guys cross the dry riverbed back towards town. Suddenly, your horses, at least those near the front, get a little jumpy, a little spooked, and then that's when you hear the insect-like creaking and clicking of joints. A slight of rattling begins to kind of vibrate beneath the sand and the dust of where your horses are.
Hmm.
And jumping up out of the ground, you see 3 giant scorpions.
Okay.
Oh,
Great.
Coming out, one in front of you guys, trying to get at your horse, its tail and stinger trying to stab. Let's see. Let's roll a 1d4 and see who it's trying to stab. Kona. Trying to stab Kona in the front. The one appearing on the side of you guys, more so towards Nero and Monroe, and the last one being closer to the back by Ezra.
hmm
You evidently have been stalked by these scorpions. And with that, we're going to go ahead and go to our first break real quick.
Cool.
See y'all in a little bit.
We're not going to see more.